Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Stuart Downie from the Highland Council, and I'm going to give a brief talk on severe weather and a custom development that we made with the help of Jadu to list school closures on our website. But it's occurred to me in speaking to people around the room that very possibly some of you may live in climates that are not so blighted by horrible weather, and it may be the case that you don't have to regularly close schools every winter as we do, but if you live in the warmer climates of Britain, then you don't know what you're missing. So what we have in the Highlands is a population of about 300,000 people, but it's spread out over an area that's 12,000 square miles. So it's the largest local authority area in Britain. It's bigger than Wales, and we have hundreds of schools. We've got over 300 schools. We've got small schools in some of the islands that have maybe 5 or 6 pupils, and we have several schools that have over 1,000 pupils. And it's the responsibility of head teachers to declare that a school gets closed if there's a batch of bad weather. And our problem is how to communicate and get the information from these hundreds of head teachers with different personalities spread out across some quite remote and difficult to access regions, and to have this amalgamated in one place so that everyone can see it. In previous years, what we've attempted to do is we've built special websites. We've had a Highland School Closures website that the head teacher would have access to. They would log into the website and mark the school as closed, but problems with that happened when teachers would forget their login details, and their initial priority is just getting the message out. So they want to phone local media and make sure that parents know that the school is closed. They're not always concerned about making sure that the council know that one of our schools have been closed. So it was a good solution. It worked quite well, but not 100% effective. And the last attempt we did to try and solve the problem of listing school closures on our website is we tried to give head teachers direct access to our website. So we'd hope that they would log directly into our CMS and just mark the school as closed on a special page that we had created for them. There's various problems with that, similar to the problems listed above. There's also problems of network connection, network activity in some of the more remote areas across the Highlands. So this isn't an adequate solution, and our council, like many of you here, we have corporate restrictions on accessing our CMS. You need to be using a council device, and you need to be connected to the corporate network. So there's a VPN and security issues. So that wasn't an ideal solution and didn't work particularly effectively. So we decided that what we need, or what we're looking for, is something that's immediate and instant for head teachers. We need head teachers to have something that's really fundamentally simple and quick, so that they're more likely to do it and do it effectively. And we need some sort of page that when it displays the schools that are closed, parents are being told long before the working day starts. So if we're not giving head teachers direct access to put this information out, we're looking for some sort of out of hours service so that people can update a system long before transport has to be arranged to get the kids to school. So it has to happen at like 7 o'clock in the morning. And what we're hoping for at the end of this small project is a definitive and accurate list of all the schools that are closed, just simply displayed on our website, that we can be confident shows the actual state of closures that are happening due to bad weather. And another thing that we need is a little bit of mathematics at the bottom. We need to have the total number of pupils affected. This is something that our press office were often getting asked for in previous years of bad weather. They would be how many primary schools are closed, how many secondary schools are closed, and how many pupils are affected. But there was no way for them to get this information. They would have to speak to education and find out how many pupils were in the individual schools that they had found out were closed, and then tally up this information themselves. So our press office had to do all this work manually. So what we're looking for is a solution that shows all of the schools that are closed and gives some sort of calculation of how many pupils are affected. So our plan was to use our existing directory of schools information. We have a comprehensive and large directory of schools info on our site. We've got all 300 or so schools, and we've got them listed by whether they're secondary schools or primary schools. We've got the number of pupils that are in each school, so we already have this information in a giant directory on our website. So if we could just simply add an extra field to our directory to mark the school as closed, and then magically create a custom PHP script that would take the closed schools from these records and display them on a web page, which is what you're seeing on the right there. That's what we eventually developed with the help of Jadu in about a couple of weeks. And the last action there is to come to a decision about who logs in to Jadu and marks the school as closed. So this is just a brief shot of what the school closures directory looked like. So we've got a field to mark the school as closed, and we created another field, the reason for the closure, with a list of 4 pre-built responses for the common types of closures that occur. And there's room to expand this. We could easily add new options to these fields. The script that we made just simply takes the result of this field from the directory and displays it on screen. And that is the page that we wrote. So with help from Jadu, we created this definitive closures page here. At the top, we're promoting our school's information line. This is a service that had previously existed. Head teachers can log in and leave recorded messages on this phone line of the current status of whether a school is open or closed, and that's a popular service that our education unit wanted to remain active, so that's promoted at the top. And beneath that we have today's date, an advert saying that we are listing these on Twitter and Facebook, and I'll explain in just a moment how that works, and a list beneath of the schools that are closed on that day. So this is just information which is being pulled from the directory. So we're listing the name of the school, the time that it was closed, which is the last modified date of the directory record, and the 2 fields that we created in that school's directory. So closed due to bad weather. So we have a list of the schools that are closed and a reason for the closure displayed on the page. And at the bottom we've got some calculations to show how many primary schools and how many nurseries are affected and how many pupils in total. So that solves the problem of media inquiries at the bottom there. And this is all possible because we have all this information already in directories, in the fields in our directory. So all the information already exists, and we can simply surface it here as soon as the directory is modified to show that a school is closed. So the solution we came up with, the answer to solve the problems of head teachers not being able to reliably access IT sites to actually close a school, is that we asked them to phone the council. And this isn't a special phone number, a hotline that we created for school closures especially, so it's not a number that they need to memorize specifically. All it is just our general contact number. So they phone our council contact centre, and the agents in our council contact centre are trained to log directly into Jadu and to mark the school as closed. So what we have is a small team of maybe 5 or so people who we're specifically paying to have on call from 7 o'clock in the morning during the winter period. So from November to March on weekdays, these people are available from 7 o'clock to take calls from head teachers. So we think we've got something that's ultimately quite simple. Head teachers just phone the council, and the council log into Jadu and mark the school as closed for them. So how it works, there's 2 steps. Our service centre agent is logged directly into the school's directory in Jadu. Our CRM system is Lagan CRM, so we take them through the steps and we take them directly to Jadu so that they're right at the school's directory, and all they need to do is to search for the name of the school, to mark it as closed, and then to press the little save button at the bottom of the directory record. So immediately that goes on the web page for absolutely everyone to see. And then we've created a second step where we made a simple form in our CRM software that would then send a batch of email alerts to a whole list of people here. So we're maintaining a list of accurate email addresses for each school inside our CRM system, and when you press that form in the CRM software, it fires out a batch of emails to local councillors for that ward so that they know schools in their ward have been closed, and it sends emails to generic mailboxes for cleaning and catering staff so that they know not to go back to, not to go in on that day. And also, we send alerts directly to social media using a service called Tweet Email, which is something like $40 a year. What that does is it takes emails and it pushes it directly onto Twitter. So as it happens, our Twitter account is connected to our Facebook account, so all of the messages that go out on our Twitter are also duplicated on our Facebook page. So with just a series of emails that are being fired out by a simple form in our CRM software, what we've got here is a massive push of information to interested parties, including people who want to follow us or like us on Twitter and Facebook. So these numbers that we used on this page were widely reported in local media. We managed to get the development finished just by the end of December, before the snow hit, and the numbers that are reported here are 40 schools closed, affecting X thousand pupils. And our press office did the hard work of making sure that the media were told to promote our new schools page and to follow us on Twitter and Facebook to get these updates. So there was a big push by us to get people to use this page. And this is an example of what the tweets look like when they're issued out. This is all it's doing here is it's the same message that's being sent out when a school is closed. We're just replacing one bit in the middle with the actual name of the school. So you've got school closure, Aviemore Primary, and then a link to our closures site and a hashtag to aggregate all of the closed schools onto one page in Twitter. So these are the messages that also went out to people on Facebook as well. And what we had on Facebook was what we saw on Facebook was a huge spike in the number of likes, specifically as you'll see on January 14th of this year, which was when the big batch of snow closed 40 to 80 schools in the Highland region. So we saw a doubling of likes on our Facebook page, up to 8,000. And we saw enormous increase in activity on our website. That spike at the very top, you can't quite see that very top spike there, but it's 94,000 page views on that one day. That was Wednesday, 14th of January. So that was more than a doubling of activity to our website. And as you can see from the top 3 pages just beneath here, 2 of them are the school closures page. The bottom link there is, link 3 is the link that we promoted from our home page. And the link 2 would have been links that people would have found on Twitter and Facebook, and by going to the link that we had promoted through social media. So it was the most popular page on our site, and it was the most popular search term on our site. And for the month of January, we saw an increase in mobile activity to our site. For the first time, we saw that mobile usage outstripped the desktop users, just for the month of January. So we're fairly certain that this is an enormous audience of new people who are coming from Facebook and coming to our site on mobile phones, very possibly children, in fact. Children and parents who are now using the site during this period for this purpose. So it was a great success. It was a good project, but there was one final bit of development work that we had to do. We were asked to develop another script, or to change the functionality slightly of the school closures, so that the schools that were listed as closed automatically cleared during the night. It had been our intention originally to make the head teacher phone up the council and alert us when the school would be reopened. So they would phone us to say, I'm closing the school, and at the end of the day they would phone to say the school's going to be reopened tomorrow. But we couldn't convince the head teachers to fall with that strategy, so we had to just rely on the phoning to close the school and having the script automatically close it at the end of each day. So we developed a second script, and what it would do is it would save an XML file of the schools that were closed during the day, and it would email it to the education unit so that they had an audit, a record of the schools that were closed during the day. And then it would automatically go into the directory and reset all of the fields so that those values were set back to normal and could be used the next day as normal. And just also there's one more, just as that I didn't mention at the beginning, as a security check, we get the head teacher to confirm a PIN number when they phone in to the council. The council has a list of PIN numbers for schools, and the PIN numbers are something that's known by head teachers and used in other services. They use it to add the message to the helpline. So when they phone up the council, they verify that PIN number with the council so that we know that they are who they say they are before we close the school website. But that was it. It was about 2 weeks of development work, and it was a great success, but it couldn't have happened without the help and support of our friends at Jadu, particularly Pete Bushell. So thank you very much, Pete and Jadu, and thank you very much for listening.